people. Today we're going to be doing my own personal Valentine nails, so let's get started. This set, right off the bat, I'll tell you, took me 4 hours and 45 minutes. There's a lot of hand painting, and it's amazing how much extra time just doing hand painting adds to. Maybe it's just me and I'm slow at it, I don't know, but I wasn't even painting anything complicated either. But anyway, let's carry on. I am going in with one coat of this Makartt purple. I got a mixed bag of polish on this one today, again. And there's a lovely bruise on my nail right there. I banged my last set of nails on the edge of a table and popped that one off, but it left a nasty bruise under there. And we're only going to be doing one coat of this because some of these are going to get painted over with the hand painting process, and others are going to be, I'm saying chrome. It was supposed to be chrome. Didn't turn out to be a chrome. You'll see when we get there in a sec. Okay, I'm going to top coat those with regular no wipe top coat. Not the tempered top coat I usually use because for some reason the chrome powders don't stick to that. I don't know why, but there you have it. So I'm just going to go in with this one. And obviously I have sped this part up. Although right now it doesn't seem to like it is, but actually it is. That's how slow I go, I guess. And this last one on here, and then we will cure these. Sorry for my arm. I try to edit those out, but sometimes it's just so quick it's not worth the edit. Okay, moving on to they'll see how dark that purple is, and it's chrome. That was done over black. So that's what I thought I was going to be getting, or at least close to that. But what I ended up with turned out to be more like an Aurora powder than a chrome. See? I end up going with it, but was not part of my original plan for these, so it came out looking a little different than I anticipated. But I still like them. So we're just going to go ahead and put this on all the nails. Some of them will be staying like this, and that'll be their color. Others are going to get painted over and only have like a little bit of this showing. But I just figured this was the easiest way to go about it. So I don't know what the deal is with this as to why it didn't do chrome over here, but because I have done chrome powders over colored polish before, not black, and they still came out looking like chrome. So I don't really understand what's happening, but we're just going to go with it. It gave it kind of a bluish highlight to it, I guess you could say. When the light hits it certain ways, you get a lot of blue coming out of it. Once again, I don't know why I didn't do this over the my dust collector, but this one wasn't that messy. I think the actual chrome powders are they? I think they're lighter. I think their little flakes are lighter and they blow around a lot more. This one I didn't have much of an issue with that. Okay, I will get all of these on here. And there we go. Here's the difference in the color that we have now between having it on there and not. Okay, now I'm going to take a soft brush and we're going to brush off any loose powder. And then we will be going in with top coat. Now, on the pinky, the middle finger, and the thumbs, we're going to have matte top, because those are going to get where that's where the painting is going to go on top of those. So since I'm using polish, not gel paints, I figured that that's supposed to help keep it from spreading on you. And these other two, the ring finger and the index finger, I've gone in with the tempered top coat that I usually finish with. Okay, and then I went in and washed my hands, got all that powder off of everything. Now we're moving on to start the hand painting process. I've got the Makartt, which is the same color I used on the base color. That's the darkest one. And I'm going to start on my thumbs because that was where the hardest part of this is going to be, and I wanted to get it done with my detailer brush. And you're going to have to watch me in some pretty awkward angles and deals here. Okay, on here I'm going to start off by making a heart. Now when this was going to be chrome still, when I thought I was having chrome, the center of this heart was going to be the chrome color when we're done. But considering that it's not that now, it doesn't show up as much as I would have liked in the center, but oh well. I still like the way they came out, though. I'm still fairly happy with them. One thing I did figure out after all this painting time it took me to do these is if I choke up on my brush, see how I'm holding it like pretty close to the end rather than up higher on the handle? I had a lot better control over it that way. I know this is mostly out of shot. It'll get better in a minute here, I think. At least I hope. Okay, I'm just doing a kind of a wide outline around the heart, which is going to be the first stripe of this part. It is so awkward trying to do this kind of stuff on your own hands. I think I could have sped this up considerably if I was able to work on press-ons or somebody else instead, not myself. Because it's just awkward trying to get your hands in positions to where you can get, a smooth line or just where it's easy to paint. One thing I didn't realize until I got a little ways into this is the point of my heart is not centered like at the middle of the nail like it should be. It's just slightly off. So as we go along, the center point bottom part is going to get like it's going to be scooched over little by little. But other than that, I think they came out fairly decent. My hearts came out pretty much symmetrical. That's always the part that I have a problem with. I'm going to go in. I'm trying to keep my edge line smooth with no little jaggedy bits sticking out. So when the next one goes around, it's got a smooth area to start with. And then I'm going to clean that up a little because that part of the line got a little bit fat. Thin it out, and then I'm going to have to go back and refix it a little bit with the, frankly it looks about the same as it was when it started now. Anyway, I will flash cure these in between each color. And when I'm happy with it, we'll go do that. Also, I'm working back and forth between both my thumbs at once, so you're not seeing the second side. But as you can see, it is done there. Now we're going on to this medium purple. This is a Beetles color. And then we're just going to do an outline around this at about the same width as that one that I just did. You really wouldn't think, because I'm not doing anything complicated as far as painting goes, but it was amazing at how much time it really took to do that. The little bit of stuff that I did do. I'm trying to, my focus this year is to do a bit more hand painted stuff and not so many stickers or other things. That's not to say I'm not going to still use them, because I obviously I am, but I'll see right there, I tried to get my point focused over towards the center a little more, because you can see when it's facing up that how far it was off on the bottom of the heart. And then we will go and outline along the edge of the darker one. I'm also going to attempt to do some kind of a character nail that's hand painted this year. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm trying to find something that looks simple enough that I think I can handle. And then I will do a set of that somewhere along the way. This is FYI, this is going to be the last Valentine set, as we're closing in here on Valentine's Day. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. You'll have to stay tuned to see. It'll be a surprise for both of us, because I don't know either. Yeah, see, this is the stuff that really takes the time, and I can't even imagine on some of the things I've seen painted. There's a lady on TikTok whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but she paints these really super detailed sets of character themed stuff with all kinds of crazy like things that happen with like thermal polish or disappearing polish or color changing or whatever. And she's done some fantastic stuff. I wish I could remember her name right now off the top of my head. Alright, I think we're closing in on this stripe being about done. I've left this stripe and the first one in real time. After this, I'm going to speed it up to double time, because we're just going to be doing the same thing, only a different color. And when I am happy with this, which I am apparently not yet, there was a little gap in between this one and the first one that I'm trying to fill in right here. Whoops, now I got some sloppage on the center part, on the middle, on the dark purple one. I will clean that off. There we go. You can't see it, but I'm cleaning it off right there. I don't know why, but I had the worst time keeping stuff in shot on this one. Okay, that went in to be cured or flashed. Now we're moving on to the lightest purple, and obviously now I've sped this up in an effort to get through these. Oh, also on another note, for my birthday, my husband got me a microphone for this, because he said my sound of my recordings is not very good. It sounded fine to me, but, you know, what do I know? He's a musician, so he's more in tune to that stuff than I am. I'm just happy I get a voice going on there. But anyway, I'm using this mic for the first time, so you guys let me know if you notice any difference. It feels kind of intimidating now to be sitting here with this microphone in front of me, as I had just gotten comfortable and used to doing this in the first place. Now see, every time I come down to this bottom point, I'm trying to like move it over just a little bit at a time as I can to get it closer to the center so it doesn't look so weird and like tilted. And we're just going to fill in with this. You know, it kind of looks like white as we're putting it on, but it really isn't. It kind of needed a second coat for this one, but so I just put it on, I went over it and put it on a little bit heavier than I was doing the others, so I wouldn't have to go in and do an actual second coat. And luckily it worked out without wrinkling. I was kind of worried that that might happen. And there's a little sloppage. I'll have to clean that off. And we're just continuing to go along. When I'm happy with that, we're going to flash cure. Oh, first we got to clean up the sloppage on the side. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to cycle back to that first dark purple and do some more. There's only a little tiny sliver left at the top of there to fill in. And then the stripy bits at the bottom. I thought about doing this on all of the nails where they were going to be painted on, but after the time it took me to get through this one, you know, just the thumbs, I just went with a squiggly kind of swoosh on the other two. So they painted much quicker. Although it still did take a considerable amount of time. I was really surprised at how long it took to do this, because it's not like I'm doing anything real fancy or crazy here. And I think we're good to go there. Now we're moving on to the medium one. When you get a glimpse of my other thumb, you'll see the difference in how it goes when I'm doing it with my good hand and how it looks when I have to use my offhand. I mean, it's not horrible. It's way better than I used to do, but still, I can still see all the kind of little jaggedy bits that are not nice and smooth like I would like. I have gotten to be fairly ambidextrous, though, from doing this stuff, because I've just had to. Okay, and moving on, the last little bit here. These last little corners are going to be the lightest. Oh, this is me painting with my offhand now because I forgot to hit record on the other one. So there you can see how like janky looking some of those are. Well, I did my best with my offhand. And don't forget to cap your ends as you're going along at the bottom of there. Okay, moving on. Those are done. They've been fully cured. Now we're going to move on to the pinky and the middle finger. We're going to have the swoosh. And it's going to be this kind of striped the same way as the other ones. This part's a little harder to see because that color is pretty close to the same. Now that stripe I just painted, the center of that's going to stay that chrome-ish color. And then we're going to do the outer, a stripe on either side of that. This part went a bit quicker. Obviously it sped up to double time, but it went a bit quicker. Not having to do like the precise heart shape, this was much easier. And I wanted like full stripes, not, how sometimes if you're doing a curvy bit, sometimes you're going to do like a fatter part where it dips in and then have it get skinny as it comes out. I didn't want to do that on this one. I wanted them to be of a similar size. Also, there's not as many on these because they're smaller, so you're not going to have to paint as many different stripes. Now I did go, when I get done with this one, I will cure it before I move on to the pinky because I was afraid I was going to bump it on something and mess it up, which we definitely don't want. I don't know what's going on with the focus either. Okay, now we've moved on to the medium color, and we're just carrying on. And once again, I will cure these in between. I'm doing the exact same thing on the pinky now. I guess I'm not showing that one. I think I cut that out for the sake of making this video a little shorter. But the pinky now is getting the exact same treatment. There, you can see it off in the distance briefly. Now some of these, as we're going through and these little curves are getting tighter and tighter, are going to be a little trickier, but still not a big deal. And once again, I'll say there's nothing hard about this set. It's just very time consuming. And we got a little piece at the bottom. Alright, well, I guess you're going to see the pinky for this part. There was a really dark spot on this pinky that came from when I was putting that powder on there and rubbing it in, and I don't know what that is or why that's like that. But I didn't worry about it because obviously I'm painting over it anyway, so. That one's a bit pointy looking. I think I go back and fix that. Yeah. We need that to be roundy like the curve there. There we go. And I don't know that there was room on that one for any at the bottom. I guess there was a tiny little sliver on the corner. Okay, now we're going in with the lightest and doing the last of this. Now this one I did not, oh wait, yes I did fill that one all in. When I get to the middle finger, it's big enough that I don't need to fill all of it in. I will leave a spot in the center where it's going to be the base color again, like on this one. It was a little too much to fill all the way in with this, so I had to have, and for some reason my finger, that finger I'm trying to paint on, got really shaky. I don't know what in the world was happening. It's like, come on, hold still and stop that. I'm trying to paint lines here. Yeah, some days I don't know what it is. I just have shaky hands, and other days they're good. They're good. So up until this part, everything was fine. So now see, did you see how that little piece is over there still? We're going to leave that as the base color. And we'll be ready to cure these guys here in a second. Okay, they're all cured. Now we're moving on. We're going to use this platinum gel glitter polish with ultrafine glitters and our detailer brush again. And now we're going to outline just the center stripe where the base color is. I was really proud of myself when I got done with this part. I was able to get nice thin lines that are like uniform, and the colors is nice and uniform. I didn't have any, like sometimes with glitter polish you get some parts where there's not hardly any glitter, but you don't want to keep painting over it because then you run the risk of your lines getting too thick. So I was really pleased that I was able to get nice thin lines on here and the glitter. This particular gel polish, glitter polish, I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these colors, and it works really well for doing line stuff like this and getting a nice solid line of the glitter. And those polishes I got off of AliExpress. I've had them for a few years now, so I don't know if you could still get them or not. I would assume if you looked for them, you could probably find them. But some of the stuff on there is like hit or miss. If you don't get it when it's there, then you may not get it, because they tend to put stuff out like following all these trends, and then once that goes away, all of a sudden you can't get that stuff anymore. So I've come across that with a few other things, but usually I have a good supply of stuff. Now that pinky nail, I haven't cured these yet. I thought I'd be pretty safe to get both of these lined out and then cure them at the same time. And this is sped up, I believe. I still think these would have looked a lot cooler if that chrome had been the chrome color that I thought it was going to be, but I'm still happy with them. And on that side edge where that little bit is, well, I didn't show it, but I did go around there too, where we left that little tiny bit of the base color at that edge. Now you get to watch this awkward painting of the outline of the hearts. Once again, this is why I like doing the press-ons, because I can just turn things around however I need them to be. See, I'm balancing my thumb on my pinky, and then I'm also That's helping to steady the hand that I'm using to paint with too. Okay, and then those have all been cured. Going in with the final top coat of, now this is the tempered top coat now. And we don't need to put it on those other ones because we already did that earlier. See that little bit on the side? There's that little glitter polish outline around that too. Okay, moving on. We cured that. And now on to the embellishments, because of course I have to have those all the time. We had light purple, dark purple. Those were kind of a smoky purple, those little teeny ones, and some silver ones. You can't really tell that smoky purple one on the really little teeny tiny ones. Oh, and caviar beads, of course. Okay, on this one, I wanted to do kind of like a widow's peak looking kind of design on there. I got way the heck too much glue, of course. I will take some of that back off. Got glue crazy on that one. Okay, I'll start off with the biggest one I'm going to use in the middle. On either side of that, it's going to be some a little bit smaller, some of the silver ones. I gotta say, since I bought this pack, this bunch of silver and gold of these crystal things, they're not really crystals, but they look like crystally shape, but they're kind of got a metal coating. Anyway, I bought them because I had occasion to want some of those before and I didn't have them. But I've been really surprised at how much I've used these since I got them. And this one is one of those little smoky, tiny ones that are smoky purple that you can't really tell. They just look like clear. They aren't, but they look like that. And one of them is going up into that part. And then a little bit more glue, spread that out. I have one more dark one. This is all sped up too, by the way, because this took me a while. And then we're going to move on to caviar beads, I believe. Yep. I'm bummed too. I ran out of the teeny tiniest little ones that I like to use all the time. So now I have to use the next size up. I had ordered a couple different ones lately, thinking that they were those real little teeny ones, and they're the second size up. So now I've got a whole slew of those, and none of the real tiny ones. Alright, so we're moving on. We're also using these little silver hearts. Let's pull some of those out. Now these guys are concave on the back, so you've got to get a good amount of glue under them. And it really kind of needs to squoosh out a little to the edges, otherwise it just fills up that concave part and it doesn't really want to attach. And secondly, when you're curing it, the light curing lamp is not going to penetrate through that metal, so underneath there is not going to be cured. So you really need it to squoosh to the edges, so that's what it's holding on to. That's where the actual glue that's holding it down is coming from. Okay, now I'm going to go on with caviar beads. These are going to be the last of my little tiny ones that I'm using for these. I'm trying to put one in between each crystal. Now I had some issues up in this part, and you'll see why in a bit. They were stuck together, so I had to stop and break them apart. And we'll put one down at the end of the whole line of crystals also. And these ones here on this back part of this, I just could not get them to get off or get on there. I ended up having to add extra glue, and then they kept sticking to the brush. I try to get it down inside of there. See, it just wants to keep coming back off. I needed it to be down inside where the crystals are and not on my cuticle where it was trying to stay. Now what I also like to do is just get them on here and then I can move things around later and get them tucked up in where I need them. There's that one problem child again. As you can see, my cuticle is all full of glue now. And sorry, I'm out of shot again. Okay, now this is where I start getting these finalized where I want to put them. This is where I'm going to figure out something does not look right here. What is going on? On the left side of this, I'm like, how come something's not right? But then I finally realized that the crystal that's in there had got turned up on its side edge, and it's up against that biggest purple one, so you couldn't really see it. So eventually I'm going to figure that out. And once I do, I will flatten it back out where it's supposed to be. See, it's laying on its side there. See that? It shoved itself up on top of the other one. So I'm going to get these guys all put where I want them, and then we're going to go ahead and cure once I'm happy with where everything's at. Don't worry about that gluey mess that's kind of all around the edge of there. We'll clean that up at the end. Okay, that's cured up. Now we're moving on. This one is just going to have a simple cuff that's done the exact same as we just did, except for not using that real big one. I'm going to use a smaller purple one to start off with. And then they will get smaller accordingly as we go down the line here. And those little smoky ones on the end. Come on. I was stuck on my mat. Okay. And then caviar beads are going to go in between all of those. Have to add a little bit more glue to some spots. And when you see the picture jumping around and changing all of a sudden, that's because I had to stop and break those caviar beads apart. Some of them were stuck together in there. When they're cooperating and they all go on there nice and easy, this doesn't take that long, but sometimes they just don't want to work for me. Like that one does not want to get off of the brush now, and now everything else is moving around. More glue. And one more in there. And then we're going to put just one heart right here. Well, okay, you're going to see this part. I thought I edited that out, but I originally was going to put some random hearts just all over that one. Hence the reason I have put glue everywhere. Whoopsie. But after I got them on there, I decided I didn't like them. There was too many. It just didn't look good. Didn't want all those on. Alright, let's look. See, I decided, I don't really like that. So off they go. Get off of there. And I will clean that glue off before I cure. I'm going to finish moving these back around. I think they've shifted a little. Okay, that one. Now we'll clean off that old glue off of there. And then it's ready for curing. In it goes. Oh, not yet. I gotta fool around with it a little more. I decided, I guess it wasn't centered all the way where I wanted it. Okay, are we done? Nope, almost. Okay, now it's cured. Now I also decided to put one in the middle of each of these thumbs in the heart. If there had been chrome in there like it was supposed to be, I probably wouldn't have done this part, but since it wasn't, I thought I'd just put these guys on, so it kind of ties in with the other nails a little better. And home stretch. Final top coat now. I'm going to use my tempered top coat, and I'm going to butt up against the crystals in there, and I'm going to go over top of those metal hearts. That will help to keep the finish on them nice and shiny silver, and also it will help to hold them on a little bit better. And we will give it our final cure. And we're done. And that's what we have at the end. That's the good hand. There's the one painted with my off hand. And the thumbs. Of course, they're upside down now, but you get the gist. If you like this set, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a like. If you want to see more, I upload a new video every Saturday, so you can go ahead and hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I thank you so much for watching my videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.